first half playoff race is coming to a close. Find out who's closing in on the finish line this week on the Report podcast. We're back, episode number 380 of the Indy Ball Report podcast, and unfortunately, this is not a very happy week for us. We have to mourn the loss of one listener. Not that they're dead. Let's get that straight. They're not dead, to my knowledge. But apparently, the Flame of Liberty will no longer listen to this podcast.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That our takes are just too much for him, and that apparently, I guess we don't hate the gays enough. So that's a deal breaker for him. He will
continue to carry the flame elsewhere. Calm down, guys. I need you to know I'm not reading DMs for a reason. Also, if you do DM me and like we're like cool, I'm sorry. That's just, you gotta understand the amount of like crap that I get. I don't check DMs super often. Understandable that I would get a lot of crap. I'm an annoying person. I've met me.
You know who else is annoying? Trevor Bauer. And we don't have to deal with him anymore.
Adios, amigo.
Yeah, he's going back to Mexico, which is kind of funny because didn't he say he wanted to spend this year stateside?
Yep. He really thought the reason he wasn't signed was because he was not in America. Like, we'll see. I don't know about all that, buddy.
That Trevor Bauer went in staying one thing and then changed his mind halfway through and just did it without anyone's consent?
I'm not saying there wasn't consent. Just saying that, as usual, his word doesn't mean much. So, whatever.
So he really forced his way through this one.
I don't know. It's a real car wreck of a situation, I'm sure. Guess the back's feeling better, though.
I was going to
say, like, actually, it was written down to be a talking point on this episode. It was like, I mean, are we going to see him again? Because the best of ability is supposed to be availability, and my man's not there. If he thinks people aren't, shelling out money for Indy Ball guys, they're not shelling out for Indy Ball guys who are missing time. Like, what are we doing?
You mean to tell me a 35-year-old guy that hasn't pitched in the show in 5 years and has been lukewarm milk toast in other foreign leagues that are widely considered the best non-American leagues, who is now missing time in Indy Ball after only going through the rotation twice in any given series, is not going to draw a lot of attention?
I mean, I'm more or less saying, I think maybe a Mickey Mouse Cy Young only buys you so much leeway.
You act like he was traded away from several.
He almost had starts in the Atlantic League as he did during that season.
But hey, he was 5-1. He had 66 Ks in 42 innings, 2.36 ERA, which admittedly is much lower than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't get a full season, but admittedly it was lower than I expected it to be. Clearly, I overrated Atlantic League batting.
Yeah, weird year. Yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, another one goes. All right.
Yep, good riddance either way.
Man, I'm fine with it. Yeah. Watch out, man. Well, at least now, if you see a Trevor Bauer Ducks jersey, that gives you a good sign to stay away from whoever's wearing it.
That man just climbed out of that Cybertruck and put on his Trevor Bauer Ducks jersey.
Not bad, bud. Not bad. What is Indy Ball anymore?
He just told me to follow him on X, the Everything app. Man, I don't know. I don't know what else to say on it. People know our feelings. I'm like, all right, at least I can stop being asked about it. That's the name of the game. We're really the winners here because we don't have to worry about the sideshow anymore.
Yeah, like again, I'm not even trying to be super like, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm like, kind of just like, yeah, sure on it. Yeah. I'm so over it. I feel bad that like, I don't even have an opinion anymore. I'm just like, y'all know my opinion. He hasn't been, again, like, Indy Ball moves so fast. There's so much happening. And I'm like, yeah, he's not really relevant. He hasn't pitched in a month. Like, it moved that quick where I'm like, all right, whatever. Oh, the guy who used to pitch here? I don't know.
Anywho, let's go to positive news, right? Because the American Association is providing us with some positive news, and I like that.
Yeah. Why not?
So they're going to have their All-Star game, and it's going to be on MLB Network, and that's pretty cool that the partnership actually goes both ways.
How about it? That is unprecedented. I'm like, what else? What's the date on their All-Star game?
The 15th of July. So a little under a month from now. That would be a Wednesday, in case you're wondering. I believe it's right after the MLB.
What's the date?
Game, 15th of July.
Okay, and you said it's right after MLB All-Star game.
Right around the same time, yes. I think it's the day in between the seasons.
I was going to say, it has to be a no sports day. Which is not to take away from it, but it is a good job seeing your opportunity and getting it done. Yeah, because the All-Star game's the 14th, I think.
That makes sense.
So yeah, that makes sense for sure. Yeah, because my initial thought was, when's the World Cup final? You know what I mean? But that's like, when ESPN puts on all their like the Ocho sports, they've had some funny stuff the past couple weekends with the World Cup going. They've really been out. They've been way out in left field, except none of the sports they have a left field. I think they've had like the HVAC championship on a couple times. I think, okay. And I don't want it to be taken as like, oh, Ryan's making fun of this. I'm making fun of it a little bit because I do think it's funny. One, all of a sudden they're interested in the partnership and they have everything to put on TV. And two, I think it's funny because it is very American Association to be like, oh, we're right in that weird gap where there's no baseball happening. There's an opportunity here. And just bang, directly in. Like, I don't know. That's funny. And funny in a good way. Because I am very encouraged by this. I think it's a great thing for an Indy Ball. Indy Ball has had a rough year, friends. Indy Ball has had two public things this year happen. Neither of them were good. The talk around it has been like talking about the players like they're plumbers and talking about, the teams like they're amateurs when it comes to these people. Because again, once the story goes big, you're going to be hitting the people who don't know Indy Ball and don't know what they're talking about. But those opinions can go pretty wide. So it's tough. We're fighting a lot of things. So like anytime to get in front of people, and MLB Network crowds on a day where there's no baseball are probably looking for something. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
I do hope and pray we throw the fan vote shit out the window and we take the actual best players though that we're going to showcase. I need you to bring some ballers out there, boys. We need this to not open ballers. Not
open ballers. No, launch that to the sun right now. This is not going well. Yeah, agreed. That works. I just need a good showing from the boys. That's all. Need a good showing. I trust you.
Ironically, we need as few Lincoln Salt Dogs as possible, despite this game being in Lincoln.
Should really be armed and ready with like a couple super quick cut, like highlight reels from the skills competition, because the American Association typically does a fun skills competition with a few lulls and a couple of low moments, but you should be able to edit that into a fun thing, showing off how much fun it is, how much of a good time it is. Make sure you do that. Have that. I'll fight you. Thanks.
Now, question for you.
I'm nervous. I hate that I'm nervous about this, by the way.
Well, because it's a high opportunity.
I know. And Indy Ball has squandered so many of these, especially recently.
Yes, but this is one of the competent leagues.
I do think the American Association is the most likely league to properly capitalize on one of these things. I feel that way.
Two immediate thoughts here. One, Shep is going to be texting you.
That's fine. I think Shep would agree, frankly. I'm just saying that. He hasn't said anything to make me think that, but I think he is objective enough to know the American Association has been doing this at this level longer, and the Frontier League is still finding their rhythm. While that league has Hinchliffe in that league, we are, the legitimacy will make me nervous anytime we're going big public with it.
Sure, but he's going to be up in Zlarnia this weekend, and they do not sell Ghost Energy, so he's going to have to smuggle that across the border, and he's probably going to be going through withdrawals and have shakes.
Then the Zlarnia boys go crazy.
They do. See, that's what we really need is an expansion team in Zlarnia. But regardless of that,
leave your Ghost Energy at the border. This is a heroin country.
Any case, second point, would it be better or worse to have like somewhat recognizable former major leaguers in the All-Star game if it's going to be on MLB Network?
I don't think
it goes. See, here's my counter to that. Having a recognizable name makes it easier to relate, but at the same point in time, it's like, really, this guy's an all-star in this league?
I think I'm going to go the other way on that. I think it doesn't make it easier to relate. I think it kind of skews things, right? Because a lot of these guys, you've seen probably some of their lowlights, which is why they're not in the show anymore. So with that, you're kind of like, the one thing that always makes me difficult for me to really rate the KBO, and the thing that always makes, there are some people out there who love the KBO, who are like, this is as good as Japan. Japan is as good as AAA, close to the majors. I have to be like, easy. Cause they're like some dudes in the KBO who are raking, who have like a career 150 in the show. Like, we need to settle that down. And I think we can have that same effect. And it almost makes it harder to grade it because you're comparing that guy's probably worst moment, the struggles in Major League Baseball, what you remember from him, whatever led him getting probably DFA'd, to then the success he's having now and trying to translate that. I think the opportunity with them is, though, the remember some guys vibe is definitely having a moment. The Hall of Pretty Good, this guy was good, or whatever the hell that one account is. Like,
this guy was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, that's having a moment, so you can cash on that. You just have to be careful. You just have to be aware. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be making all-star selections off of, and also from a legitimacy standpoint, I don't want us making selections based off of like what we think the perception of this guy at the All-Star game will be. But it is just, I think also I don't know who's doing the broadcast. Did it say that in the release?
I don't believe so. I assume they'll simulcast the AA baseball version.
Like, that's what I'm hoping too, and I'm putting faith in that broadcast team that they will come ready to rock with, which I'm sure they will. It's a massive opportunity for them with, if there are guys like that, where, for example, somebody who struggled in the majors and then now they're there, being like, yeah, struggled in the majors, but was a great prospect, crushed it, looking to make their run back to the show, or just looking to like live out this is their role here, where they're older guy, veteran presence, playing really well, back to form, rather than they're playing well because the league sucks, because that is the assumption. I mean, and that assumption isn't completely out of nowhere. Just sorry to wrap that thought, because we don't even remember something that has been a struggle lately in baseball projecting is the gap between AAA and the majors is somehow bigger. Like, it is crazy. And there are so many guys who are just quad A guys anymore, where they are murdering at AAA and they can't do anything at the major league level. The Phillies collect them seemingly. I don't know, because they can't develop players. Weekly mentioned the Phillies can't develop players. And, I don't know. I said, it is, I think, always worth pointing out because a guy is having success here doesn't mean the league is bad. It means he is very good and it's really hard to play Major League Baseball. Like, it is so hard and you get so lucky. Well, I know there's a lot there. And almost to the point where I'm like, don't even think about it when you're making your selections. Just get the best guys out there. Don't do a fan vote. Do a fan vote for last 5. Do that.
I also hope this will keep players from opting out as well, which has historically been an issue.
And I think it's a huge win. I really do. I think that is a huge win for this. I think it should go a long way. It is an interesting one for my theory, because to remind you of my All-Star theory, because we've always wanted a tournament of the champions of Indy Ball, and we know it's hard to arrange postseason, yada yada. So my counter was always doing a tournament of the All-Star teams midsummer, and just do it as a showcase. So you play your first round game against whoever the other league is. So we're doing Pioneer, American, Frontier, and Atlantic. You play whatever team you're against in round 1. And then the 2 winners play each other for like the champion. And then before that, the other 2 play maybe a 7-inning game right before. And it works as like a showcase, like sort of a scouting showcase of these are the best dudes in Indy Ball. There's 100 of them, like can't miss. Yeah. Hopefully for, scouting purposes or whatever the case may be, data gathering, seeing how good the Pioneer League guy a team's curious about really is. Can he actually compete in a couple ABs against, Frontier or Atlantic pitching? So things like that I think would be a good idea. But seeing how many guys will, actually pass on this opportunity will be instructive to that idea, which still not like my ideas in the works or anything, but at least tells me whether or not I'm a moron. The constant raging debate. Am I a moron?
Yes. Next question.
Shakes the Magic 8 Ball. All signs point to yes. Again, damn it.
What's even worse is that was a bowling ball.
Jackie just wrote all signs point to yes on it. This will entertain him all day. Watch this.
Yeah, I guess I'll throw just a quick thought in here. I do like the opportunity. I do think the association was most likely to get the chances because they're always working, grinding on it. There's a reason why I did the March Madness partners with them because they have so many, and some of them are admittedly like Dino Power supplements. And it's like, what the hell is this? But then there's legitimate ones too where you're like, oh yeah, they have games on the Nessun streaming app here. Like this is a legit thing here.
I have multiple times open an app and like, oh, the American Association's there.
It's on like Prime and stuff too. Yeah. Like they have as far as brand recognition goes, they're up there. They're decently well recognized. Yeah. And in the sense of at least you'll see the logo and be like, I've seen that before. Where's that from? And that's not a bad thing at all. Mm-hmm. So I give them credit for always working and trying to do things, and that much is hard to ever knock them for that. So I do appreciate that. I do get a little concerned with it being in Lincoln that we're going to get a heavy Lincoln focus, and I'm not sure that's necessarily the organization you want to run with for this.
Nope. Keep Lincoln. Make sure there's some breathing room. It's not the Lincoln show.
Keep them and keep Chicago away.
What we know is Lincoln fans won't even buy tickets to the Lincoln show. We know this.
This is one of those opportunities where you're really like, man, Kane County, Fargo.
Yeah.
These are the organizations we really wish could.
Yeah, man.
Although MLB Network would never broadcast anything from Kane County, though.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, too. I wonder
how it would have gone. This.
Yeah, I wonder how that would have gone.
They would not have gotten it. That's how that would have gone. They would not have put it in a ballpark that was formerly affiliated.
My conspiracy brain says it could have gone a different way. I think there would be a real chance that the American Association, especially with the CBA coming up and minor league baseball being very much in the balance, that they use it as an opportunity to go, look how well it's going there. We're not the bad guys. We're not taking baseball from people. Look how well it's going. I could see that.
See, it's funny you hit on that because it brings me to a point I was thinking about, and this is a little off topic, and I'll try to circle back so we can actually talk baseball because I don't want it to be an overly long week. And I don't want to be too negative because last week was admittedly extremely negative. But the point I was thinking of was we're seeing a lot of contracts getting purchased this year, absurdly high.
Oh, yeah.
Well outpacing last year.
Yep.
And really the last time it was this high was the last CBA negotiation period. And with this broadcast, you brought up the point I was thinking again, which is I do wonder if on some level, this is MLB's way of being all right, we're going to take some guys here. We're going to show this is a viable path, yada, yada, yada. Renew the, hey guys, we're still on team partnership, right? You're not thinking about going rogue on us because we don't give you much at all.
All of a sudden,
behind the scenes resources.
All of a sudden, we're tightening that grip up again the moment there's going to be a lockout. Fascinating.
Just making sure you're not going to do anything wild, go out and
sign the guys that are doing, because, and as a quick reminder, the last time there was a lockout, I was working for Lexington, and we had deals ready to go for multiple major leaguers who were currently locked out because that's that. And we kind of ran up the chain, and they said, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, why are we not doing that? And we're Lexington, we need to sell tickets, dude. Wake up. We have two teams here. And they were like, the MLB talked to the league and told them like it was like illegal, which is straight up not how labor law works. That is absolutely not. Like, frankly, I've said it now that I'm gone. We pushed that straight over to the Players Association. We said, just, this is what they're saying. They were dumb enough to send an email, like, for the record. So they will play that game. They will flex their leverage over the partner leagues to say, don't sign these guys. Cause if you're Major League Baseball, right, it's a battle in the public opinion. And when the public, they are turning on MLB more every time one of these things happens. Now I think there might be a slight counterbalance this time because the Dodgers, but last time was more pro player than a labor stoppage has been. And they're trying to win over public opinion. And what makes it impossible is when you're trying to say these players, they're so lucky to play professional baseball and they're being greedy and they won't give you the baseball because they want more money. And then that guy you're saying that about is signed up to go play in Lexington or Kane County or Lincoln for like, the $2,000 a month. It hurts the argument. It's a bad look. When you're out there, they can be signing autographs, they can be doing all this stuff because they can't do anything team affiliated. They can't do anything, facility related. They can't even have a logo with them, but they can be out there. They can do their thing. Man, MLB does not want that. That's a really bad look. I think it's interesting that it's interesting timing.
I would assume that's why they want that partnership thing reaffirmed because, hey, look, they're under the MLB umbrella. You can't associate with them. They're MLB attached, kind of, sort of good enough to put this through a court battle that will be more expensive for you. And by the time it works its way through the court, we'll be having this lockout sorted. But yeah, it feels like there's more to this on the cynical side.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, fully take advantage of the opportunity if we got
it. Get yours. I do not shame them for getting theirs here, but I will shame them, and there will be plenty of time for it, if they are playing patty cake with MLB ownership rather than the PA, because it's easy to have your partners taken care of and sort of like hide behind, you don't necessarily need to take that heat of, I guess most fans don't think of it that way. Most fans aren't sitting there going like, oh, if you don't have MLB players, you're helping the ownership. But like, that's the fact of it. And it's easier for them just to avoid the whole issue entirely. But I think that's soft. And, whatever. I know which way they're going to go already. It doesn't matter. There's not enough reward to it, but it's frustrating, I guess. It's frustrating to already know.
We have actual baseball to discuss here in the dying minutes of this show. Probably should get to that.
Maybe.
We have playoff races we have to discuss. This was teased in the cold open about a half hour ago. 40 minutes ago. And, one of them seems to be pretty well wrapped up. The other one, a little bit more in flux. Hagerstown, magic number, I believe, fell to 3 tonight. So very well possible that by the time most people are listening to this podcast, Hagerstown has clinched their first ever playoff spot. The magic of Minikazi continues. His first half closer reach knows no bounds, apparently.
Yikes, dude. I mean, this is the worst case scenario for Mark Mason.
Oh, absolutely.
He leaves York goes on a run. He leaves Hagerstown goes on a run.
But he left Empire State, and they didn't go on a run.
I mean, he improved Empire State, frankly. So good on him. I don't know. I like Mark, man. I've never had a bad conversation with him, and I've had multiple, and I've genuinely, I don't know anybody saying bad things about Mark. But boy, man, it's been a tough couple of years. It's like, it's rough, man. It's tough to see, but boy, is Mark Minikazi going pretty buck wild on this. I mean, he's handling business. I mean, these are not bad teams in this division. Now, let's all keep in mind Staten Island is giving away wins, right? But I mean, these are still 500 teams, essentially, at worst. Long Island, Lancaster, York. And they are 4 games up on them with, I mean, what?
I mean, It totally, like, we are going to, like, I still think Hagerstown's the best team in this division by a margin right now. I will say, though, just leveling it off, Long Island has been pretty slow starting and fairly underachieving thus far. Lancaster's currently on an L6 streak and 1-9 their last 10, so they are not showing up when it matters, and they're typically a second half team. And York is having a whole host of issues. So, not the York team we expected to see. So, not exactly this competition. Staten Island's busy, eating pace, not winning 10 games in the first half. So,
my God, it's unbelievable. They got a dub tonight, though, over Long Island, which is, how about it?
Yeah, how about that?
But yeah, I mean, what do we think about Lancaster even? I mean, this recent stretch, it's included dropping 5 of 6 to Long Island. They're getting swept by Gastonia, who Gastonia is hot again.
We'll talk
about they? Every time okay, we're fine. Well, I'll hold off for a second, but that's another one where I'm like, what do we do with you? How do I still not know if you're good?
As far as the North goes, with the Lancaster question, I waited the second half with them too many years in a row now. That's been the case to ignore that trend. I do think they are probably the weakest of the real North Division teams. York, for better or worse, they do score a lot of runs. I think they're better than the record says they are. Not by that much, but I do think they are like 4 or 5 games better than that. Long Island, I think now the Bauer Circus has left town. I don't know how much that was a factor, but it certainly had to be some of it. Yes, you are losing a pitcher of value. He was only giving you 5 innings, but it was 5 innings of normally of good work. So that was something, too, that you are going to lose. But it's Long Island. They'll find a way to replace that fairly easily.
Yeah, Long Island's going to come down to who they can bring in, because they've had a lot of signings this year. So they're going to have to replenish a little bit. They've been adding as they go, but can those guys continue to deliver for you? That's going to be a big question mark.
Exactly. So I do think that's a factor in this, and I want to see what Hagerstown actually wants to do in the second half here. Going to be interesting for the North in that second race. I could see also a situation where perhaps a wild card is open somewhere. But the more I look at it, and this will be our transition to the South Division, maybe not, because Lexington's not a good team. They're pretty much where we expected them to be. Charleston, they need a plan for the second half. They're missing teams, or they're missing pieces. It's a very flawed team at the moment. High Point just kind of bottomed out. I don't even know what's going on there. That's just not a good year for them. I mean, it's going to happen. They really haven't ever had a bad year.
Their pitching is fine. His offense just can't get going.
And yet not the worst offensive team in their division.
Well, there's that. I
don't say nightmare, but regardless, it'll happen. Is what it is. I'm not overly concerned by that. Gastonia, like you were just saying, is the $1 million question. They're on an 11-game heater. They had another long run earlier in the year, but they're very streaky. And I don't necessarily think that's just down to a contract got purchased here or there. I can't tell if it's an opponent-based thing or it's just when one piece goes, the whole thing goes. When the piece comes back, then the whole thing comes roaring back here. I still shouldn't write them off for winning the South Division in the first half. There's a 6-game run here. They're a game and a half back. Southern Maryland has not been overly impressive, essentially a 500 club over the last 2 weeks. And they are in a losing streak right now. It's going to really boil down to who can win the most against their schedule. So, it's very possible even by the time this comes out that Gastonia will have closed it to a half game. And by the time most people are listening, Gastonia will be in front. I mean, we have about 1 week or so from the day that this comes out to figure out who's going to be in what spot. I think Southern Maryland's going to do just enough to hold on, but Gastonia, I think, will do enough to get a playoff spot some way or another. Their first half is certainly setting them up nice for a wild card in the worst case scenario. And it probably is posing a serious threat at winning the second half. And if that's the case, then there is no wild card. because it's essentially who wins the North. Because, second half North team, if you win it, you're either Hagerstown or you're the just outright winner of that division, and the wild card is going to come from the North. The South just doesn't have enough gas. So, yeah, that's pretty much where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the last 6 games of this stretch here, right? Because that is the number, right? My math is not that bad. Okay. Gastonia is going to be favored in every game, I think. And they got Lancaster for 3, Lexington for 3. I think the big thing for them is they got Nick Horvath twice, I think, in those 6, which is big for them. He's still got like a 2.2 ERA. And I don't know, the concern, it's a weird split for them where like Ashton Godot, I'm trying to think who else is going to pitch for them. Underwood, maybe? I don't know. But I'm trying to think. My issue for them is they got one bad matchup, probably, oh God, what was that? What's tonight? Friday. So Saturday night game, probably a little questionable.
Yes.
They got to go against Matt Swarmer, I think, if I'm tracking Lancaster's pitching staff correctly. But then once they go to Lexington, they should basically have the arm advantage in all 3 games. So if they've won 11 straight, if they can keep that rolling, they got a real shot here. Because on the other side, Southern Maryland is favored, but I would say not by near. It can't be by as much because they got High Point for 3, which High Point's a mess, but like High Point, they have a losing record at High Point so far this year. They're 6-9 so far. Nice. They're a little lucky with where they got High Point maybe in the rotation, unless they decide not to throw Daniel Blair again, but I feel like they might. I haven't seen a move that suggests they won't. I mean, they're in a spot where they're going to need to pull something off. They have looked good against the Ducks, and that's who they finished the stretch against. But like, there's a chance that they struggle here. They definitely have a harder road. They have a 1 game head start, it looks like.
Yeah.
Checking. Yeah, they have a 1 game head start, 1.5 game head start. So hold on. They only have 5 games left? Yeah, they only have 5. No, math. Or they have 7. Southern Maryland has 7 to play. So their 7th game is against Staten Island. They have 6 to play. So I would see, it is interesting if Southern Maryland manages to drop this by a game, then they would certainly regret the fact that they lost 1 game to Staten Island earlier in the year.
Oh God.
They dropped 1 random end of series game. They were going for a 6-game sweep and dropped that. That would suck, man. The other one I was thinking though is, it's worth noting Gastonia does not have the tiebreaker. So they got to pass Southern Maryland in the standings, not just tie them. Though I'm trying to think, is that,
I don't think it's going to matter.
I'm trying to think if that's an extra, it's not going to be an extra game they have to play. Do they have they have a suspended game somewhere in their standings?
No.
I'm sorry, in their schedule. I will double check real quick. Let me see. Got 2 suspended games. Southern Maryland with 1. That was a 5-4. I feel like they finished that game, then didn't finish the other game. That's for Long Island. Interesting. I think they might still have a suspended game going against Long Island. Interesting. So, I mean, for my sanity and for everybody, I hope that doesn't come into effect. Didn't that happen a couple years ago? Am I crazy?
Honestly, at this point in the night, I don't recall.
I feel like it might have. Or it felt like one of the races at least came down to like a finishing a game up, which might have been even a wild card race at that point. But something to keep in mind. I'll shoot a couple texts. I'll shoot a text now and we'll see. But anyway, I won't dwell on that much longer. But I do think it's going to be interesting. Everyone's kind of favored. Yes. Oh, it's the York game they forfeited. It's not in the standings. Oh, the gays might be getting a flag. Brother, if they win by a game, it needs to be a pride flag.
Oh my God. How funny how pissed would you be if that's the reason you lost the division?
Dude, we will see if if Gastonia loses. Well, if Gastonia loses by a game, nothing's going to happen, but it will be crazy. Yeah. If Long Island manages to like miss out on like a wild card spot by a game because of this, either because Gastonia is the wild card team or because Southern Maryland loses the division but wins the wild card, we'll see a rule change tomorrow. My number one shock of the offseason was I heard from multiple sources that we were going to one division like full season format and in the Atlantic League. And the reason none of it surprised me was because last year the Long Island Ducks got screwed by the 2-half format. And I was like, of course now we're going to change it up. And I was blown away that they ended up not doing it. But yeah, man.
So if we're good to move on, then I will bring us to the association again and for the final time of the night, just to make a couple of observations before we go on to the Frontier briefly and potentially the Pioneer, but they may get cut this week.
Yeah, no, I keep meaning to just do a good, like, talking ball on field week. But this is a weird week. I've been getting caught up on a lot of stuff, and we've been running around, and we had a busy weekend hanging out. The boys.
There was a Ford Fiesta that was racing.
Dude, it kind of raced them Fiesta. There were two, sir. Though I think one might have wrecked on Sunday, which is kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, it's a Ford Fiesta.
Everyone survived.
American Association. So Gary kind of regressing back to what they probably should be. Not great, boys. But Kane County's also hit a snag, so that's kind of interesting. They're kind of duking it out to see who's going to be the 3 or the 4 seed. Doesn't really matter because we kind of know how this situation is going to wrap itself up here. Although Cleburne, admittedly, still not very good, but getting better. Chicago's just a bad team, which sucks for the boys, but there's a lot of Schadenfreude in this one for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I don't know where to even, okay.
Yeah. So
I feel like I had a point. I feel like I had a note on this and I just checked my notes. I was like, didn't actually make the note. Good job, Ryan. What was my fun fact on this then? Oh no. You can continue with your train of thought and we'll see if it jogs my memory here. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the East Division here, it's really kind of funny how they're done in couplets, right? Where like Milwaukee's really hot right now, Lake Country not so hot right now, but they're very clear the top 2 teams in this division. They're going to be fighting with each other for a while. Mm-hmm. Then you have Kane County and Gary that are very much like fighting for the 3rd spot. They both should be playoff teams, at least as of right now. Not guaranteed by any stretch, but they should be if they could just piece it together. And it's a matter of, okay, who's going to get the better-ish team they're going to have to play? Genuinely speaking, the travel is literally all the same here. This is a year where, like, you just pick the team you think you'd rather play. Don't even factor in travel because, like, okay, it's basically Chicago area versus Milwaukee area. Mm-hmm. So that's not even a factor. So you have those two kind of fighting it out here. And despite having nearly identical records, Gary's a half game worse. The way they got there is like so radically different. Where like Gary's like putting runs in the right games. Yeah. And like when they lose, they lose. But like they'll win games and that's good enough here. They've scored like 15 fewer runs than the Cougars have. They've given up 50 more runs. The run diffs are literally 65 runs apart. It is wild. And
I still can't tell if, and I've seen the game. I've been watching. I watched probably more Gary games than any other team in the league. And I still can't tell sometimes when they lose. This feels like sometimes they full send lose. And I'm like, is this intentional or does it all just go bad? Like, is it, hey boys, this isn't it. We're not wasting anything on this game. Like we're moving on, which is not a bad methodology. Or is it just, oh my God, all of the power is down at the same time. None of the outlets work. Like start praying to the sun god to get something like that. Like, is that what's happening? I can't quite tell. It is funny to do it that way.
Column A, column B situation though, when you think about it here, because like if you're getting beaten that bad, clearly nothing was going right. And like the further into this beatdown you get, you're kind of like, okay, why are we going to waste more arms than we have to on this? Right. And at a certain point, you're like, yeah, I mean, Elvis Peralta has played 15 in a row. Maybe we could give him the next like 4 or 5 innings off. Why put him in this position where something could go wrong? Right. So I could see it kind of being both here. I just do hope that it is not a mentality shift thing where it's like, up, we're down by 6, surrender time.
Mm-hmm.
And instead it's just like, okay, we're down by 6. It's the 8th inning here. Let's be smart about this.
Yeah. When down 3 or more, it looks like they're 113. That's not, that's the worst in the division, but it's like by a game. You know what I mean? Okay. So it's kind of tough to tell, but it is. But also, I wonder how many times they're down by 3 and they end up losing by 7. You know what I mean?
Fair. It's just, I want to know at what point they fall down by 3, because that's a huge factor in this too. You fall down by 3 and it's like the top of the 9th. It's like notably different than down by 3 in the 4th inning. It's like, oh, that's a very winnable game.
Right. I will point out a couple things, which is Lake Country is in free fall. That is, I mean, like it is not, I went to look at the stats and I was like, I'm sure this isn't as bad as it looks. It's not good.
Without Ryan Hernandez, it could get worse. I still think.
This feels like it's going the wrong direction, friends. Yeah, not great. Meanwhile, man, Milwaukee looks good. Like, I don't know.
They're a little truck on that. We may have to do in like a week or 2 from now early takes that have aged badly, because there's a few of them.
I don't know. It depends, because I don't think their offense is that incredible. I mean, it's good, certainly, and they're racking up runs on the teams they should rack runs up on. But I mean, like the Lake Country offense is kind of setting the tone. Like they're not that. But I think the pitching is, we thought the pitching could be good, and it just is very good. Like they are, I think I said something like they need all 4 guys to hit like above their projection line, like above what 50% would be on their projection. We're all like 3 or 4 of the guys we talked about in their rotation during the preview. And I mean, Davis Welch is so far dealing. Solomon Bates doing Solomon Bates stuff. Jordani Mesquita looks good. Juan Diaz has been good. Like, probably could split up the lefties in there, but sure. But I don't know. It's just, you know, and even as a 5, Edinson Batista is not a bad 5 in this league. He's kind of just doing what he needs to do. So, I mean, it is hard to look at them and be like, oh, this is going to be good. Jesus. We could see a blowout in Cleveland, in Milwaukee versus Cleveland on 26th today. Yeah. Could see a blowout. If I'm honest. Just keep an eye on that. Pitching matchup says, could be gross. But, Milwaukee running away. The only thing is, you know, how hard you push and how early do you take your foot off the gas? Because Cleveland does not seem apt to make a run again. And it's not that Cleveland can't make a run at the playoffs. It's that Cleveland can't make a run at Milwaukee, which is really what you need to worry about for Milwaukee. You got an 8-game cushion on that team. And do we think they're going to do much? I guess we'll find out in the next 3 days. And if from that, Milwaukee can make some decisions, I think. Because you're right. That is the issue too with this format right now, is the big travel threat's not in it. So you're not really desperate to get the #1 spot.
Yeah. Flipping to the West quickly. Don't want to spend a lot of time here. Everybody's just kind of smacked on top of each other here.
Yep.
Kansas City seems to be the best by a notable margin, and then everybody else is essentially within 2 games of each other.
How about Sioux Falls at second place with a -44 win differential? Or run differential, rather.
Yeah, but I know that's a team that's a house of cards team here. Arguably more so than Gary. I'm
like, would I take Sioux City over Sioux Falls most days? I feel like probably. I don't know. It's a tough question. Kind of looking at their matchups here. I mean, so far they're 2-4 against Sioux Falls, so perhaps I would be an idiot to say that. But I think they haven't played for a little bit. They play next week.
I appreciate the fact that, like, as of right now, there's a very legitimate chance we're going to have multiple sub-500 teams in the postseason.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they always do. They always
in the same division. By multiple, I mean more than 2.
Yeah, what are we on pace for right now? 2.
3.
2. We're on pace for 2. Settle down.
Though Gary's about a 500 team right now. Okay, I'm just saying.
500. I think Fargo is probably on pace to be a 500 team. I think Sioux Falls and Winnipeg are on pace to be below. And then on the other side, probably King County. So yeah, I'd say, okay, I think 3. I think at this rate, I would say King County is probably a sub 500 team.
But yeah,
it's shot across the bow. Though King County, as we know, is comfortable being sub 500 in the playoffs because life is a joke and everything is meaningless.
Yeah. All right. Any other West Division thought here, other than just like it's a very scrunched up division, and that there's no real separation here. Also, no
here
home
doing the scrunch. Oh God, I think. Sioux City needs to kind of figure out their offense, and they could be okay. That's my thing. If Sioux City figures out their offense, I could see them finishing second in this division without a problem. But other than that, I think this team needs to. There's a lot of teams right now struggling to find an identity, and they're also fairly fortunate that Lincoln is in their division because every once in a while they get a weekend to be like, let's see how we are against a team that can't play baseball very well.
Okay. Seeing as I'm fading fast here, I think Pioneer League is going to wait a week.
Okay.
And it'll be more fun to talk about them when their first half's nearly done. But we will talk Frontier League, though. So, quickly, and by quickly I mean less than 5 minutes per division here.
Oh, we can easily do that.
Yes. Atlantic East.
5 for the league.
No. I'd like to do like 3 minutes.
Oh, man. I mean, it's just...
a lot of bad.
It's not good.
Like, that's the thing here. Like, New York seems to be the most confident. I have this gut feeling the Jackals are going to wind up stealing this thing.
I think New York and New Jersey are clearly the top 2 right now.
Oh, no shit.
That's not a compliment, though. Do not be like, we're the boys. No, shame. Sit on shame stool. Think about it. If New York or New Jersey, whoever becomes a second place team, you do not deserve the wild card. And
yet here they will be getting the wild card because Ottawa is like the other team here. Like it's very clear there's 4 playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's New York, New Jersey, it's Quebec and Ottawa. And we'll go more Quebec and Ottawa in a second here. But like the Atlantic East, I was really thinking like, okay, Downies may steal this about 2 weeks ago. And then TJ left and they really haven't been themselves.
Is TJ a glue guy or is he just holding every team together? What is happening? Because his results in Trois-Rivières has not been that bad. I'm saying, was he like, literally like holding the lineup together? I don't
think holding it together, but I do think the presence is noted.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, it changes the dynamic, it changes the vibe, and then things start to go wrong, and then where they may have been saved before isn't saved now, and it's hard to replace a guy like that mid-season. It's hard to replace a guy, period, but like especially mid-season, and you just kind of got to roll with it then, and everything is a lot more complicated from there. So I think it's that. I mean, also Sussex County just does not have pitching at the moment. I mean, the one I was watching tonight, you're up 7-1.
Yeah, I got to tap.
I am deeply surprised to see that we went to a third pitcher instead of just running the same guy back out there for one more inning of work. Like, give me 2 innings. Make it so I can get away with this. My starter, one reliever. Whatever. Don't want to tax the guy because you're going up to, I think it's 3 Rivers next for 3. Totally get that. Fine. If you're brought into a game where you have a 6-run lead in the top of the 9th inning, to hell with this cute nibbling the edge shit. Go at him.
You have to attack. Yeah.
Just go at him. Even if he tanks one on you, who cares?
Yeah, I get it. I know the guy you're talking about. I think he missed all last season with an injury. I don't know how comfortable he is, but like, hey guys, like that situation is a situation to attack. You're not going to get more comfortable. You're not going to get more comfortable hitting the edges, boys. Like you have to challenge guys and see and let your stuff compete, or else you're not going to, navigate the edges to confidence, because even then, even with success, you'll be like, it's only because I'm avoiding bats. Like you got to attack, let guys take swings at you, and see how it goes and adjust from there. You actually learn a thing or two about what you got. I mean, you don't learn anything from working around guys. It just can't happen.
Yeah,
So,
I just didn't get that. I mean, it created a situation, and then you had to use another pitcher to get out of it. And what could have been realistically a 2-pitcher night, 3 at most, has not become a 4-pitcher night on a getaway day. So that's something they got to figure out.
Tough.
Also, getting healthy would probably help a bit too, but they got to figure out the other thing first.
Part of it.
Yeah, and then New Jersey seems to be getting by fine. Not great, but fine. I do wonder how much better they are than Sussex and Down East, and how much that's a product of just like they haven't been hurt as much, and they are just slightly better constructed and have not, played the same teams that the others have. And then there's New York, who does seem to be the best of the bunch, but we'll see if that holds up, or they'll just kind of cave slowly throughout the year.
I mean, first things first, do you think Quebec can hit 75 wins this season?
If we want to go to the Atlantic, then yeah, I think that's possible.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they're on the pace for it so far. I mean, it's
just 6 games going to help them get
6
there
games for sure. Yeah. At this current pace, they'll get there. Beyond that, yeah, I agree that the top teams are pretty clear cut. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate Brockton's struggling to get results right now. I would have liked to see a little more out of them. There's a chance they pull together a little more, but I don't know. Tri-City not competing is really killing the momentum in that division. They just don't. They're not as bad as they were at the start of the season, but they just can't get more than a couple wins strung together. It feels like, and it's just there's not enough there. There's not enough depth there to put together multiple good games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had that Dead Valley Cat bounce in Mississippi, which is kind of interesting there. But like they, by and large, have not been a factor in all of this.
It feels like this to me. I want to see if it feels this way to you too. It seems we're currently on a death march to Quebec, Washington.
Yeah, that was where my ultimate end goal is going to get to, is that there's clearly a Quebec, Washington hierarchy, and then everybody else. I will say the rest of the Central is intriguing. Even a bad team like Lake Erie isn't like offensively bad most nights. They're just like not the same level of a lot of the teams they're playing. But Florence being a quality team, Evansville really having a strong bounce back year also helps. And the fact that either one of those two teams would be either leading a division or contending for a division in the East or Atlantic. God, I hate that so much. Does speak volumes to the depth on the Western half of the league. It's just like, even in the more Western portion of the league, the bad teams are better. But I do agree to the overall point, though. It feels like Washington can get to the point where they're going to get to the final. And I am curious to see what happens when they match up against the Quebec. We've speculated in the past, like, well, whoever comes out of the Western part's going to have the more difficult pathway here. Maybe that drags against them a little bit, or maybe that gets them ready to play a team like Quebec. And again, we always come back to like, well, it's Quebec. So like, they'll give you the token game or two and then they'll win in 5. Like, okay.
My thing is like, I don't know what Washington's going to run into. I mean, I feel like it's going to be Evansville and Florence probably as the wild cards, unless Schaumburg can make a run at it. That's the other thing. But like, they kill Schaumburg. They have so far, at least. I mean, Schaumburg
also, at least tonight, and it's too small of samples to go off of, didn't look overly impressive. And I mean, their week looked like this: blowout win, nail biting win, bad loss. It's not encouraging. Hey, the more we see you, the more we hit you.
Right. I think that's why. I'm just not going to. And Schaumburg going 1-5 against Washington in their first 6 against them, it's not a good sign. So I think that's kind of. I feel like that could be a Washington, Evansville, Florence, Windy City situation, and I don't know that any team has much for that. I don't think Windy City is definitely an improved team, and I love seeing this for them. I think they're benefiting from having a soft division right now, and I think they could have a lot of trouble against Washington. Especially in a playoff series, Washington's been there a lot. They seem built for it, and I think that's a problem. I could see Washington getting there. I mean, the question is going to be how ready is Quebec for this because there's a real chance Quebec wins their division by 15 games. Like that is a real possibility that they are 2.5 weeks to go in the season. They clinch that division. Cause they're up by 8.5 now and they're not even halfway. So that's something to watch. I mean, Washington's a pretty comfortable. I mean, they are 2.5 right now. I think they're going to pull away on Evansville. I just don't think Evansville's built for the long-term chase, and I think they'll kind of cash on them, but it's something to watch too. Just how much time Quebec has to make moves, knowing who, like Quebec is the scariest thing because they could be like, we need to beat Washington. Assignment understood, and just make sure they have a guy or two who Washington does not handle well. And then all of a sudden, we're in trouble.
I mean, the thing is,
nightmares in Canada.
I mean, the thing is, like, they keep adding more and more guys. They're not afraid to do that. And they already got a lot of guys that just bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, these are guys that know what the deal here is. They understand the objective. They know the assignment. So, like, I'm not really concerned about them being ready. They are ready. They stay ready. So, like, okay, they're going to do what they got to do. Don't worry about it.
Dude, French in the deep, brother. You just hear them coming. It's terrifying.
I will say on the Windy City point, regardless of what winds up happening with them, I do think they are the favorite to win the division, at least as of now. And regardless of how legitimate or illegitimate the record is, the turnaround there has been significant. And I think that groundwork to get them to the point where we are very clearly over a third of the way into the season, rapidly approaching the halfway mark. We're a week and a half away from reaching that mark. And the fact that they are not just in contention, but leading a division and looking like the strongest team in said division speaks volumes to the amount of work that's been done over there. And I think that does deserve credit, even if, there's more underneath the surface. Past Windy City teams, and for a very long time, we would not see Thunderbolt teams take advantage of the opportunity that was presented in front of them. And this year they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a notable improvement. This feels like a turning point for the organization, which is awesome. And I do think I might have mentioned this before. I will just say it again. I'm sure I will say it in the future as well. There should be some credit on that to Toby Hall, not take away from anybody else, but like the task that last year was, the struggle that was, the tragedy around that team, and keeping the boys together, keeping their heads in it, keeping a good energy and making the best of it. And having something to hand off that wasn't a disaster, and having guys that still want to come back is saying a lot. Because if this was a straight rebuild, it would have been difficult, but they kept the good pieces that they could use. They laid some groundwork for what was to come, and that was pretty big for them.
Definitely.
We like a cycle. We like bad teams getting picked back up and getting good. Hagerstown being good is great. Gary being good is great. Windy City being good is great. So if you ever wondered who we're rooting for, we're rooting for everybody to get some dubs here and there. You know what I'm saying? So that if it ever feels like we're rooting for a certain team over another one, it's probably your team's year next year. So don't overthink.
Yeah, and like Windy City's been bad for a while here, and I think Tarcone's done a phenomenal job here too. I don't think that's getting acknowledged enough here. And it's a testament that they actually finally have somebody that's here and doing the job well. And it's kind of funny that their last three, like Current and the past two, all very much were set up to be the guy, and very well could have been. It's just how the cards fell that this is how it's going.
Yeah. This, oh man, this is, I'm really impressed, man. We'll do a deeper dive at some point into what has come together for that, but now it's not the time I'm aware, but it's pretty great, man.
Yeah. So I do think that's the natural endpoint of the show.
Oh, really? Because I was going to just shout the fact that Idaho Falls all of a sudden has won 5 out of 10. Yuba Sutter's a disaster, and I still think there's a chance that the division race is nearly over in the Pioneer League for the first half. Anyway, continue.
Cool. That's
Also, Missoula's giving up tutties like constantly. What is happening? Missoula, are you okay? What's happening? Talk to me. Look what they've done to my boy.
Any case, that's all sounds like interesting discussion for next week.
Yeah.
Because it's 2:30 in the morning. I want to go to sleep.
Missoula's going to be vomiting foam by then, but sure, we'll try.
Yes, but you forgot something very important. My position on that league.
I know. I hate it, but every time I turn that league on, it's kind of entertaining ball. It's kind of crazy.
The non-ice score league has to get its act together.
10-3. This game is 10-3 in the 7th. This game is just beginning.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm wrapping it here. So if you would like to let people know where they can find things, do that.
Indy Ball Nation, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, podcast platforms. Hopefully I'll post some stuff this weekend. We'll see. I don't know. I'm trying my best. But I will say part of my issue lately has been trying to get the ranking out and wrangling my new voting crew and figuring out how does technology work. Friends, I believe in you and we're going to get it done. So I'm not wasted your time on this, Nick. I'm waiting until I get other votes in and then I'll be like, hey man, give me a top 10 real quick. So I will keep you posted and we'll see if we can get it up for early next week. Hopefully it'll be Monday.
I still have to do the thing you asked me to do like 2 days ago. That I just
don't worry about it. That's gonna be dumber than anything else.
Okay. You want more of this dumb show? You can just Indy Ball Pod on Twitter, Indy Ball Report everywhere else. Great show. Till next time, don't forget to play ball.